Well, here we are, folks. It's more conversation on the New York Rangers and whatever the trade price may be for Artemi Panarin. A superstar, an NHL stud, a 100-plus point scorer, and a guy whose availability on the market makes for some very interesting conversations. Now, the reason we are making this video is because I wanted to circle back to the Detroit Red Wings and whether or not an Artemi Panarin trade makes sense, especially now because of what Elliotte Friedman said on Saturday headlines yesterday. We now have an idea as to what exactly it is the New York Rangers are interested in receiving in some sort of a Panarin trade. The Red Wings, you can say, they're in the mix. They've got Patty Kane on their roster. They've got Alex DeBrincat on their roster. I've been made aware that, actually, Panarin's last season in Chicago was the season right before Alex DeBrincat debuted, so unfortunately, for those looking for a DeBrincat-Panarin link, that actually hadn't happened. It's unfortunate, but they were never teammates at one point. Patrick Kane, however, was, and you could even say the same about guys like, I believe Erik Gustafsson was also on those Chicago teams, scoring and doing really good things on the power play with Panarin at the helm. But ultimately, there was enough fodder, you can say, for Artemi Panarin to be linked to the Detroit Red Wings. They have a lot of cap space. If Panarin was interested in re-signing with a team like Detroit, Yzerman could probably get it done. Patrick Kane's in the mix. The Wings could use another top six forward. Marco Kasper is great, but, yeah, Panarin. He's a different animal. And this is what Elliotte Friedman said on Saturday headlines yesterday on Hockey Night in Canada. The New York Rangers are looking for a Brock Nelson-like return for Panarin. Teams want to know if they can do an extension. Elliotte names the Ducks, Kings, and the Capitals as teams with interest. They also talk about Alexis Lafreniere. Now, obviously, the Ducks, Kings, and the Capitals are not the Detroit Red Wings, but with this trade update, I do want to get into what a Brock Nelson-like return could look like from the Detroit Red Wings perspective. Now, just to refresh everybody's brains here, Brock Nelson last year was a New York Islander. He got traded over to the Colorado Avalanche, and honestly, now he's doing really well. 42 points, 49 games played. He's on pace for a 70-point year, which wouldn't be a career high. Brock Nelson has a 75-point campaign already under his belt at 34 years old, nonetheless. The guy re-signed a $7.5 million AAV extension with Colorado that takes him until 2028, so this is year one of that 3-year deal. At 34 years old, it's reasonable. The guy is not gonna be around forever. Artemi Panarin, apparently he wants a longer-term deal, though. Anyways, let's get back over to the actual trade itself. The New York Islanders acquired defenseman Oliver Kylington, forward Callum Ritchie, a first, and a conditional third for Brock Nelson and William Dufour. Now, you can say that the two prospects kind of make things a little bit difficult to balance out. I would say that Callum Ritchie is more valuable than Dufour, but ultimately, when you exclude the prospects, you're essentially getting rid of Brock Nelson for a roster defenseman, a first, and a conditional third, whilst also upgrading one of your prospects. So, if you're looking at it from a Detroit Red Wings point of view, a trade between the Rangers and the Red Wings could look something like, let's just exclude the prospects angle for it, Artemi Panarin plus a roster forward, maybe like a Comfer or something. I feel like he's the kind of guy that the New York Rangers would be interested in, plus a first-round pick and a conditional third. That seems small, honestly. I get it, it's a rental, it's not going to be for the moon and the stars. Artemi Panarin's contract expires at the end of the year, but I do wonder that if the price is that low, quote-unquote, what could Steve Yzerman have in mind? Is there a trade package that he thinks makes sense? Is there an avenue where they can get this deal done? Obviously, the number one contingent as to whether or not it works out is if Panarin re-signs. That was one of the things we were questioning with Brock Nelson, and he ended up getting a $7 million AAV deal. So he's happy. He's scoring. He's doing very well with the Colorado Avalanche, the best team in the National Hockey League right now. So, thinking about Panarin and his potential acquisition into Detroit, if he's able to re-sign, Stevie Y's probably got a lot higher of a likelihood to pull that trigger. Assuming the trade return is something like that, a first, a third, and maybe a roster player. Maybe the Wings send over a decent prospect for a good prospect too. Like if the Rangers can upgrade from let's just say a Brennan Othmann to a Nate Danielson, for example, does that even out the tides a lot more? Does it make it easier for the Rangers to say okay to a move like that? I don't know if Red Wings fans would particularly be okay with moving one of those guys, but if you can guarantee an extension, I get it, Panarin is in his mid-30s, but he is still very effective. I don't think a lot of Wings fans would have had that open-mindedness had they not seen Patrick Kane and the prosperity he has brought to the winged wheel. That's one of these things, right? Like, because Patrick Kane has been so good, and because the Red Wings are literally one of the best teams in the league right now, I think it's fair to say anything is game. Even with Kane going out there and saying that, yeah, I think we've earned the right to become a buyer team at the deadline. We spoke yesterday about Jason Robertson and conversations about Detroit getting back into the mix there because they were already in the mix earlier in the season. But now it's like, hey, if Artemi Panarin, Patrick Kane's buddy, is available and this is the price to pay, I honestly think about going after Panarin versus Jason Robertson. Now, of course, J-Rob is probably more valuable, period. The guy is younger, the guy has RFA contract expiration instead of Panarin's UFA, so automatically there's more value attached to Jason Robertson. But just for the vibes, man, imagine Artemi Panarin becoming reunited with Patrick Kane and Erik Gustafsson on the Detroit Red Wings of all teams. And if the guy's able to continuously be an 80-plus point guy, then there's so much to like out of what that brings. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel, firstly, about this trade price for Artemi Panarin? A similar package to what the New York Islanders got for Brock Nelson. It's kind of funny. The Rangers looked at the Islanders last year and they're like, hey, let's just copy their homework. They traded away Brock Nelson and they got some stuff. Let's do the same thing with Panarin. But of course, Panarin is a lot better than Brock Nelson. And you could also say that Panarin is maybe in a more vulnerable spot because it's already been publicly announced that he is going to get traded, that he will get sent to whichever team he wants. For Brock Nelson last year, it was like, oh, thank goodness the Islanders traded him. We didn't know if they'd do that. We didn't know if he would re-sign or if the Islanders would defect from this rebuild plan or whatever. Things have changed now because they got the first overall pick and Matthew Schaefer's been bananas good, but still, they got Callum Ritchie. There's a lot to like out of that, and I feel like for the Islanders, seeing what they have done, the New York Rangers have all the reason in the world to go out there and try to pick up the pieces and replicate it. So with all that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the situation with Artemi Panarin and the proposed trade price here? Do you agree that this is a guy that should go for that sort of Brock Nelson price? If you're a fan of the Ducks or the Kings or the Capitals or even the Red Wings, what are your thoughts on whatever package your team could muster up to get this guy on your squad? Do you like that idea? Do you not? Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.